Okay, that makes sense. The mic. I was like, "What's wrong with the microphone?" And then I realized it wasn't working. But I got it now. False alarm. So the most powerful thing to do, everybody, if this is the first time you're ever seeing this, welcome to William versus the World. This is a music chat and live stream where each day we uncover stories about the music industry. If this is your first time seeing this, please share the feed. It is the most powerful and valuable thing that you can do to help the broadcast. I'm going to do so myself in a second. Um, as you know, I'm supported by the wonderful production master herself, Miss Metaverse Melissa is in the production room. This is a weekly show. This is our new time here at. It's supposed to be 7 p.m., but that's okay. We're a little late, but that's because we had to run up. We had to run up to the bodega and get papers for joints and ice cream later for ICG. Not to mention, we had some fish sticks in the oven. Sorry, guys, got to eat. Anyways, welcome to William versus the World, the only interactive stream and live chat where musicians and music lovers unite. We're on a mission today and each day, daily, on the weekdays only. I don't work on weekends. But we're going to explore the truth about the music industry each day, discovering the top stories in the industry, music news, technology, and social media. Buckle up. Because it's time to learn and share. And here's the thing. Follow along with me. I'm going to put the stories up on the screen so you know I'm not making this shit up as I go along. If you were ever wondering why I have the stories on the screen, it's because a lot of people might think, they might get the impression that I'm just responding to things that I think about in my mind or something. I might reference something or come up with a metric or a story about the music industry, and I think a lot of people, at first glance, when listening to me, I think a lot of people think I'm making this stuff up. So I put the articles up because people are too lazy to read them on their own, you know? One thing independent and amateur musicians don't want to know is the truth about the music industry. Because the first thing you're going to learn about the music industry is it's an everyday industry. That's bad news for musicians because musicians don't want to do it every day. To be truly knowledgeable about what's going on in the music industry, you have to stay on top of it almost moment to moment, almost by the hour. And the reason that is because all the litigation and the court systems and all the laws and people chasing around the litigation and the ledgers. And then on the other half, well, the greater portion of that is, of course, the accelerating rate of technology. And you can't have the music industry, not just today, but especially today, you can't have the modern day music industry without technology. So in order to keep up with what's happening in the modern day music industry, if you were an independent artist, you'd have to keep up with the language, with the laws, with the ledgers, and with the goings on of the accelerating world of technology. And that's just not fun. You know, so when you tell independent musicians, hey, you know, you're going to have to be an accountant, all of a sudden it doesn't seem like so much fun anymore. When you tell independent musicians that they're going to have to learn, you know, they're going to have to learn to be a paralegal, then that doesn't sound fun anymore. When you tell independent musicians that they're going to have to do anything but get up on stage and make money by doing what they love, musicians get disappointed. So that's what this program is set to really incentivize and like curb the fear of having to learn about what needs to be done to keep updated with what's really happening in the music industry. Like you have the music industry, like what happens in these meme mags you see up on the screen here, like Metal Sucks or TMZ or People Magazine. You have a, I don't know, like a consumer base kind of reality. And then you have the reality of musicians trying to make a living and realizing that you have to wear many hats. Even as we rebrand what the independent musician really looks like. Okay? So keep that in mind as I move through the stories. The reason why I put the stuff up on the screen is because I know the average musician is not going through this every day. They're not taking out the time to read about technology every day. They're not staying updated with the courts and litigation in terms of social media and Ticketmaster and the publishers and distributors in order to know what's going on and make predictions about your career. You also need to be able to make predictions about what's happening with publishers and distributors and record labels and social media, because this is how we're presenting the music. This is how we're discovering our fans and how our fans are discovering us. Is through this technology and the platforms and the jukeboxes and the iPads and the whole bit. So in order to keep up with the music industry, that's why here each day, if you're wondering why this is a daily program, because every 24 hours there's a fresh batch of developments that have happened in technology and in the courtroom. So there's a consumer-based music industry, you know, where we watch the stories about Marilyn Manson and we hear a little bit about Spotify and people talk about backtracks and the silly stuff, right? And then there's the other music industry, the one that's happening with big tech, the one that's happening on Wall Street, the real music industry, even the independent music industry. Independents don't know how much revenue they're playing in the pool. So if you're an independent artist, you need to know that the independent music industry is a $17 billion industry. But the way we talk and communicate about the independent industry is led you to believe that there's no money in it at all. And that's to keep people distracted from actually learning about how much money's actually involved in siphoning from rebranding independence. Woo! God damn, but I can't even get into it. It's really layer by layer. But this is the reason why we cover this stuff daily. We used to have a podcast called The Hideout, and it was weekly. It just wasn't enough in terms of us trying to deliver this kind of content. We realized that if we were to try to teach people and tell our friends about the music industry, we would not be able to do it week to week. Because if we were to teach people about the music industry week to week, you lose track of it and not know what it was anymore. Yeah, if you go a single week, if you were to go 7 days without learning about the developments in law, in the courtrooms, litigation, in tech, you'd never know what's happening with Sirius XM. You'd never know what's going on with FM radio. You'd never know what's going on with direct-to-consumer products. You would never know the laws on payola. You would never know about, you would never be able to get to the bottom of streaming manipulation. The reason why we talk about it every day is because we're qualified in the sense that we've had record deals. We've won awards in multiple genres. We've been around for a while. We've played a little bit here and there. So then you have that experience, you have that education there. But then there's this ongoing developing truth about the music industry as technology rapidly accelerates, so does the players and the gadgets and the gizmos that the music's distributed through. You see what I'm saying? It's essential. But if you're not plugged into this shit literally every single day, you're going to lose track of it. And that's why we have this program. This program is designed to help and teach fans of music, DIY musicians, and independent musicians. This is a daily program where I'm doing the work for you. If you were an independent artist and you didn't have time to sift through and to, if you didn't have the time each day to sit down and organize and gather and sift through the stories about the music industry and technology on social media, if you didn't have the time to do that, that's what this is for. For those people that are getting off of work and those musicians that are really dedicated to their craft and they just don't have time for those 15-minute reads, I've already read it for you. And that's exactly why I put it up on the screen. Because I know, I know that musicians are lazy. And I know musicians don't want other people to know that. And I also know that this information can be overwhelming. It's hard to file. It's hard to organize. It's hard to look through the bullshit and find out what's really valuable. I have done the work for you so you don't have to do it. Because I know that we live in a time now, even with information beaming at everybody and notifications going off all day, most of you people at home, when it comes to your religion, when it comes to your music, when it comes to your news, you only read the first couple of layers of your favorite parts. I know what it is. When it comes to the Bible, when it comes to your favorite rappers, you only know your favorite songs. When it comes to your favorite bands, everybody talks about supporting local and what their favorite bands are. But when I start asking people what their favorite songs are, they can't name any. You got to understand that, like, you can't just say I support local or I'm a big fan on Facebook, because there's people like me that are going to test you and say, okay, you're a big fan. Well, what's the last 4 songs they came out with? Oh, you're a big fan of independent and local music? Okay. What's the last 5 local bands that you've discovered this year? You know, there's people like me you have intelligent friends out there that are going to fucking try you and test you and ask you questions, because smart people ask questions. And that's why we put the shit up on the motherfucking screen, so you guys don't have to worry and question me whether I'm making this shit up or not. Because I know when I have bad news on this program, people wish that I made it up. When we talk about bad news on our pages about the music industry, the pussiest musicians think we made it up. We're on a mission to explore the real truth about the music industry each day, because it takes each day to unlock it, to discover the top stories in news industry, music, technology, and social media. Buckle up, everybody, because it's another episode of William versus the World! Our first story today is not Metallica. I just had that on the screen. Hey, Malcolm, what's up? Malcolm's in the house. Sean's in the house. I got some video game news for you, Sean. Todd's in the house. Let's get some music. God damn, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh, shit, we got Gio in the building. Midwest connection in the house. Wisconsin family. I'm trying to tell you, we are going to have swarm ambassadors in each geographical location in the country and in the world to plant the flag. That's right. We're going to have a Swarmy Fest South. We're going to have a Swarmy Fest East. We're going to have a Swarmy Fest West and Midwest. And not only that, are we going to have each and every corner of the fucking world, we are going to have a swarm ambassador. Like right now, you guys already know, Gio is the swarm ambassador of Wisconsin. There is no higher ranking goddamn swarm member. There isn't. And the way we do it in here, the only way that you can leave the family is if you die out or quit. If you ever seen somebody leave sepsis, it's because they quit or they fucking died. The only time you see people leave ICG is if they quit or they die. The only way to quit the swarm is if you quit like a pussy or die out. That's the only way. The swarm is a lifetime membership, and the only way out is if you quit or die. Swarmies for life. That's the only way. So anybody you ever see that leaves are quitters or they died. All right, let's get to the first story. I'm so excited to play video games tonight. So, guys, the reason why I'm covering this one here, you see, this is Loudwire. Helmet cancels 2024 tour. Release candid statement. All right, now, I'm serious. Listen up. Post-hardcore icons Helmet have officially canceled their upcoming North American tour with Local H, providing a candid and honest reason in a public statement. Now, you guys might be wondering, why the fuck am I covering this? And why are we watching this girl's ankles get sprayed down? Because that is a lot of ads. Look how many ads Loudwire has. Can these guys pay the rent? You know, the ink, it dried up a long time ago here at MemeWire, this fake rock and roll meme magazine. All the ink has dried up here, and now they just have ads. Look, oatmeal and fucking workout weights. Look, ladies with fucking vegetables on their head. That's beautiful. So the reason why I'm covering this Helmet Local H US tour, guys, is because New England awesome band Trawl was on that tour. You heard? Now, I don't know if you guys know who Trawl is, but if you don't, what the fuck? Hey, Melissa, did you know they canceled the show with Trawl that I wanted to go to? They canceled it. And let me tell you, they were one of the last bands that, you know, Wally sucks. They don't play any bands from New England, but they played Trawl, and that's the only reason why we like them. I hope they still do. But here's the thing. The logistics of touring have become increasingly complicated in recent years, driven by the overwhelming amount of bands on tour at the same time and economic factors straining the chances of profitability. Are you listening to this? Let's do it again. This band was a band that New England band Trawl had a show with Helmet coming up. And we were all thinking about going to it. But I guess we're not now. Because Helmet has canceled the fucking tour. And I'm really sad about that. But they released a candid statement. And here is the idea. The logistics of touring have become increasingly complicated in the recent years, driven by the overwhelming amount of bands on tour. I don't know where they're getting that. But at the same time, the economic factors. I feel like this is written by a teenager. The economic factors straining the chances of profitability. Hey, can somebody come and get their 17-year-old son writing these fucking articles? Throw in controversial merch cuts venues take from bands, and it has every appearance that life as a band on tour has never been more challenging. See, now when I say it on this program, people think that I'm joking, whining, or bitching about something. But I'll be reading something like this. Like, here is heavy metal fucking legends, Helmet. And here they are saying something that I've said a million billion times. I tell my band this all the time. I say, band, I hope somebody tag some of my band members so I can say this to them. Band, the logistics of touring have become increasingly complicated in the recent years, and driven by the overwhelming amount of bands on tour, and at the same time there being economic factors straining the chances of profitability, we won't be going anywhere. AKA, everybody's broke. Helmet, whose last released Left in 2023, have succumbed to these factors. Look, this is a big fucking band. This isn't like Sepsis or something. This is fucking Helmet. Helmet can't tour. Are you hearing this shit? So when I tell my friends and family, hey, we can't tour, I'm like, hey, can you guys buy a ticket? And they're like, why do you want us to come to our show? So I won't die. No, seriously, so we can at least make it to other shows. So when we ask people to come out to shows, I don't think they get it. Musicians are desperate. It's not like it's me. I think people think it's me. Like, hey, it's just Will. I'm just dying for you to come to my show. I'm speaking on behalf of all musicians. And the only musicians who aren't speaking up are fucking terrified to. I don't know why, guys. I know it seems weird. So, because I bring this stuff up and people look at me and go, oh my God, that guy's just whining about everything. And I know why. That's because none of the other musicians are speaking up. I know it's fucking weird. I'm the only guy that talks about pay to play constantly. I'm the only guy that continues to stand up to Spotify over and over and over and over again without getting tired. I'm the guy that says, yo, fuck pay to play over and over and over again. I never get tired of saying it. I shout it from the rooftops. I don't switch up. I don't contradict myself. I've said fuck pay to play since the day I've said it. And you probably go, man, that guy's a lunatic. Because the reason you have a justified reason to feel that way. The reason why you think I'm a lunatic when I talk about all the stuff in the music industry that's going on is because it feels like and seems like there aren't enough musicians talking about it. And you're absolutely right, which is why I continue to talk about it. But see, I don't mind looking like a crazy motherfucker because every now and then you get legends like Helmet who just had to cancel. And the reasons are the logistics of touring have been increasingly complicated. Quote, the cancellation is caused by a mix of significant financial concerns and, ready, lower than expected ticket sales, which is a common problem for artists this year. This is what they are quoted in saying. Now, I don't know how long you guys have been watching this, but if you've been watching me for a while, I have been saying this is not limited to amateur or independent musicians. I told you very soon you were going to start hearing the other artists talking about this, disclosing and revealing that this has been happening to us all. And it's so embarrassing. Musicians don't want to fucking tell their fans, dude. Which is why we have been telling our fans about this shit since 2020. The band's European tour celebrating the 30th anniversary of their third album, Betty, is scheduled to go ahead planned, however. All right? So, lone remaining founder and guitarist frontman Page Hamilton confesses, quote, as much as we'd love to be getting back out on the road and playing, this one was not lining up well for us. We're excited about the upcoming November and December European stuff. So there you have it. They don't want to tour in America. They're going somewhere else. So when I talk about it, I'm just showing you here that it's not like I'm making up stories about the independent or local music scene. This is what's really happening with bands that are much, much bigger than ours. It is a very strange thing to me. But for some reason, when I sit down and start doing there's no. It's quite awful. I'm waiting like everybody else. It's terrible. I usually start promotions 100 days out from the event. And that is the truth, guys. Oh my gosh. Anyhow. How you guys doing? Let me check what's going on in the chat. I think I'm going to turn off this thing's just it's becoming distracting to me. Once it starts being like that, I gotta back up. We gotta back up. I don't know why this is so frustrating to me, but like it's just a funny thing, you know. It's not nothing bad or anything like that, but people won't call me all day, you know. When nobody wants to talk to me. You know, I'm not sad about that or anything. I'm just saying, like, of course I'll have correspondence with hundreds of people, don't get me wrong, but I mean, like, as far as like sending, you know, like ongoing conversations back and forth, I get it. It doesn't happen for a lot of people until after dinner or so. People get settled in and then they want to chat, which is why I chose this time to do the live stream, truly, because I finally have some time that's cleared in my day. As you guys know, I loved doing the morning program. If I could have continued to do this in the morning and do it consistently, I would have done it. The thing is, it was like taken away from truly productive time, so I had to change that up, you know. Let's do a couple more stories. So I'm always talking about this. And I just wanted to pull it up quickly. I don't want to take a lot of time on it. I just wanted to skim through it. But this is just to get, you know, your noodle going. Because I know a lot of my friends and my colleagues and family members, they get stuck, you know. And I keep telling them and reminding everybody, the smartphone came in really quickly into our lives, and I think it will probably be out of our lives almost as fast as mini discs and jute boxes. No, mini discs is a bad example, but certainly jute boxes. It's just that if you ever wondered why some of the big tech gurus and moguls of the world, some of them never got into smartphones. Like you never seen the Xbox phone. Do you ever wonder why not? Like, why not, right? And then you have to ask yourself, what happened to all the phones that used to be, right? Like we've narrowed ourselves down to 2 phones. Now, if you go to other countries and you go to other places, you'll realize quickly that the rest of the world is not iPhone and Samsung and iPhone and Samsung. In fact, you know, you really only see that in really nice neighborhoods. If you start to go to neighborhoods that maybe are not as nice as yours, you won't see iPhones and Samsungs and Xboxes anymore. So for those of you that are lucky to plug your phone in tonight, I know it seems like worlds away, but our country is very small, and getting across it doesn't take too much time. So there's places right next door to you that don't have a decent internet connection. So for those of you that can play Xbox with me tonight, and you have the ability to download, pictures via the internet and entertain yourself, be very grateful. Be very grateful. But as I tell people all the time, that the days of the smartphone are coming to an end. I've been trying to tell that to people because I've been trying to teach my friends about this thing called equilibrium. So I brought a little bit of that with me today, so to get people thinking about it. Most of the tech decisions are taken by the big tech companies. We just get to make the final decision, and it definitely seems like most of them are moving towards making phones obsolete in some way or the other. For the next big thing after phones, something more seamless, more productive. This happens because of multiple reasons. Listen up. Maybe this is not as productive as smartphones. Maybe this is not as productive as smartphones, but companies make sure to push on to us so that it could be monetized on the longer run, and it also helps the product develop faster. And they're talking about like research and development. Here we go. Experts like Yann LeCun believe smartphones will be replaced by augmented reality glasses within the next decade. That's one thing that they think. Imagine accessing information and interacting with intelligent assistants through stylish eyewear. I know, sucks. But maybe it just sucks because we are in the early stages. Like cell phones sucked at one point. And so did video games. Even, some suck now. Even if it sucks after all the advancements as well, I'm sure companies will shove it on us forcefully to make it the new big thing. Think of the Nintendo 64 controller. Microsoft's Phi 3 Mini is making waves for bringing powerful AI directly to your smartphone. This signifies a big step towards making AI assistants more accessible and convenient. Imagine having a virtual assistant that can answer your questions, complete tasks, and even generate creative text formats all on your existing device. This could be a game changer for busy professionals, students, or anyone who wants to get more out of their smartphone. I feel like this is where we're at now. People are, on a consumer level, people are taking advantage of this now. On a production level, copywriting level, and I would say just organizing and the whole virtual assistant secretary thing, people are tapping into this now. I see this now. So beyond the phone, while smartphones dominate the interaction with technology today, predictions from industry leaders like Nokia's CEO suggests a shift towards wearable tech in the coming years. And that's just because it's painful to be on a mouse all day. It's painful to be on a laptop. It hurts your eyes. It hurts holding a phone or a tablet. It hurts. If you work on the phone or you work in the office, you know your hands, your wrists hurt. By 2030, our primary mode of communication and information access might not be a handheld device, but rather seemingly integrated wearables or even implants. This could take many forms, from discrete earpieces, from communication and information retrieval, to stylish smartwatches that project information directly onto our retinas. I don't know, but it's going to be something to make us more lazy. I like how they put that. Companies like Humane are developing wearable artificial intelligent devices like pins, rings that prioritize and balance between real-world interaction and AI integration. This means you can stay connected to the digital world through voice commands or subtle notifications on your wearable without sacrificing your physical presence and engagement in the real world, huh? Additionally, these wearables are designed with user privacy in mind. Not like it matters. They collect and store data responsibly. We've heard that before. Ensuring you stay in control of your information. We've heard that before. We've heard that before with cell phones. We heard that before with social media. We heard that before with video games. We heard that before with Social Security. We've heard that before with credit cards. We've heard this before. We've heard it before that these things are designed with our privacy in mind and that they collect and store our data responsibly. Everybody has promised us that. Churches, governments, your cell phone provider, everyone promises you that they're in control and you're going to be okay. Everybody does that. Elon Musk, it's so potent you can smell it. His Neuralink is at the forefront of your brain and your nose. As far as brain-computer interfaces, or what they like to call BCIs, BCIs have the potential to revolutionize how we interact with technology. Imagine a future where we can control devices, access information, and even communicate with each other directly through our thoughts. Meme. Doesn't that sound like fun? You can finally feel the racism. Come on, just imagine that. You think I want to know what you're thinking? Look, I love you guys. I do not want to know what you're thinking. I do not want to smell your musk. I do not want to read people's fucking minds. I do not want to play with any toys that do this. So they go on to say here, it seems so dumb now, but we already controlled games and computers through thoughts. Are already close to having done that with animals. I don't give a fuck. This could have a profound impact on many aspects of our lives, from the way that we work and learn to the way that we play and socialize. Just think of how chat rooms and porn fucked up the way you jerk off. I mean, honestly, most people can't even look their partners in the eye. So this doesn't surprise me that this is going to have a profound impact on the way that you work and learn. For example, BCIs could allow paralyzed individuals to regain control over their movements and beat the shit out of you. Okay? Shortly put, here are some reasons. Generative AI adds better level of interaction with humans, especially through seamless gadgets. That's what they're predicting. That's why they're going to do it. They're also saying big companies make sure to monetize on the next big thing. Listen what they're saying. The big companies make sure to monetize on what they predict is the next big thing. And it seems like all of them are desperate to be in the center of it. So whatever big companies, I've said this so many times on this program. I said Facebook becomes what it predicts you want it to be. Spotify plays music today, but that's not what it's designed for. Like all big tech apps, like all subscription big tech apps, they are designed to evolutionize. True and natural to machine learning. Machine learning has been developed to store your data and organize it to be able to predict what you are going to shop and buy next. Machine learning has been developed and designed by you. And big tech companies believe that they have designed machine learning to a point now where they can predict how you're going to shop in the future. So let me explain something. Spotify doesn't play music or audiobooks or movies or porn or therapy. Whatever Spotify and machine learning can predict that people will want to do or buy next is what the apps will become. Fuck! And same could be said when they used to chisel into rocks and stone and tablets. Same could be said when they used to write scrolls. Same could be said in every turn of technology. Same could be said for all the most powerful religious books. Same could be said for the most powerful devices. How we get our information, the devices and the gadgets, through where we get the stories and the information. That's what big companies make sure to monetize. Do you get it? Do you get it? I don't know if anybody gets it. It's not about music. None of this is about music. Nothing I'm talking about is about music. Nothing that Sepsis sings about is about music. None of this is about music. None of this is about rock and roll. None of this is about video games. None of it has anything to do with any of it. Do you get it? We are already living in the initial part of this phase of change, and we don't seem to be backing away from it. The only advantage we seem to be facing now is the pricing, which I'm sure will dramatically drop down by the time more people are forced to hop on it. The future of technology is exciting and holds the potential to revolutionize how we connect with the world around us. Whether it's through AI glasses or innovative implants, one thing is for sure, the smartphone era might be nearing its end. There you guys have it. And the next one is from my buddies in ICG. This shit is crazy, right? What do you think, Gio? I did like how Gio said that. He said they are sources. He said the gadgets are the sources for information to be bought and sorted and sold for advertisement. It shocks me. Sometimes it pains me when our fans admit that that's how they found us. I mean, when we put up posts and we say, hey, how did you guys find us? They never say music. They never say through guitar. They never say through Melissa's voice. They never say through the cool dance we did. They never do. They never do. Some of the biggest shows we've ever gotten has been through podcasting. Some of the biggest press placements have been through controversy. In fact, we haven't been able to advance in our music career with music at all. If me and Melissa just did music, you guys have never even heard of us. So sometimes it is painful because you got to be like, we set out to do this thing. It's the funny thing, but we do everything else to try to do this thing. It's always the funny thing. This one here is for my guys that love video games. This kind of goes into like what we were dealing with in the last one. I'm not going to tear this apart. I feel like I could get stuck on this one too. Video game consoles, are they doomed? What do you guys think? I keep saying everything reaches its equilibrium. As Microsoft and Sony target PC and mobile to grow out of their audiences, what does that mean for the future of the console? I know this stuff's starting to look bulky and plastic, huh? Look at this stuff. Starting to even look different. Read here, guys. Now, you may or may not... Before we get into this, okay? Before we get into this, remember what I said before. When the first Nintendo came out, I mean, people thought it was the end of the arcade. They did. And here we are later, 40 years later, there's still arcades. I just went to one of the biggest arcades I've ever seen. And we're going to be going to some arcades for Swarmy Fest. We're going to some arcades and stuff like that. In fact, they now have arcade bars in the city. They got adult arcades where you go in and you get tickets and you play skee ball and you drink booze and you have fun. I mean, so even now they have arcades that are now completely targeted for the adults. So before I get into this, let's not get all out of whack here. Cassettes are still available. Vinyl is still available. We get all crazy about streaming and we get all crazy about AI, but as it is now, CGI has not gotten rid of painting. So, if you guys want to play Pac-Man or Halo CE, you can still play it. I think when we talk about console games or cell phones going away, I don't think they're gonna disappear from the planet Earth. Like for instance, we're done with scrolls now, right? We don't do scrolls like that. But there's still people out there that do calligraphy and scrolls. Like, we don't listen to vinyl anymore. In fact, most people that own vinyl don't even own a fucking record player. But they like collecting vinyl. I know a lot of people that have come to our merch table recently and have said, hey, man, do you guys got any CDs? I don't listen to them, but I collect them. Like, that's a real thing. That's a real deal thing. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is I don't want nobody to get upset, because I'm going to read this. It's going to say console game is dying, and everyone's going to go, Will, you're a fucking asshole. You told me the truth. No, I've been telling you guys this for years. Video game consoles are fucking doomed. All right. Console gaming is dying. That is the first. Look, that's the first. Now, if this bothers you, do yourself a favor. Go on Google or your favorite search engine and just type in console gaming, the future of console gaming, or something like that. And you can see for yourself. Nobody on planet Earth thinks that they're going to make big plastic paddles with only 4 buttons on them. I mean, 4 buttons is starting to seem like a small amount of options. Like, people that play video games on their mobile phones need more than the buttons that are offered on a paddle. People who play on PCs, listen to them when they talk about video game consoles. They act like, we're dinosaurs. When you talk to people that play on PC or mobile, they talk like people on console gamers, are in their 80s. No, we're only halfway there. If you've been in business for more than 15 years, you probably heard a sentence like that before. Console gaming is dying. In the early 2000s, it was PC gaming that was dying. Consoles were booming. Pricey was putting off publishers. Excuse me. Let's come back. Consoles were booming. Piracy was putting off publishers, and the same old games were topping the charts. Sounds like music. For PCs, it was all about PlayStation. Here we go. Then, I say this all the time to my video game friends, then Steam came along, and the indie scene. Sound familiar? Sounds like music. See, I'm always telling my friends in the video game world that music and video games are almost the same thing, because in today's world, we make it on computers and we advertise it on computers and we sell it on computers as digital assets. Smaller pieces of digital bits that make up the whole. Even the way that we roll out and monetize the direct-to-consumer products, the merch, even the digital assets and downloadable content. Just like music. Just like Netflix. Just like Spotify. Just like everything else. Just like digital apps. Everything's the same. Steam came along, and then the indie scene, and well, let's just say nobody is predicting the end of PC anymore. Thank God. Then, about 8 years ago, handheld gaming was dying. PS Vita had flopped. The Nintendo 3DS had sold half of what its predecessor managed, and smartphone games were the dominant form of gaming globally. Forget handhelds, it was all about the iPhone. Do you guys remember me saying this? I said it, and everybody thought I was crazy. People thought I was a lunatic. This seems like old news now, doesn't it? Then Switch came along. I'm so glad I get to remind you guys what really happened. Then Switch came along and created a popular product that sat somewhere between the consoles and mobile. And well, let's just say nobody is predicting the end of handhelds anymore. Things are a little different this time. There's compelling data to show that the console market is indeed slowing down. Xbox, PlayStation spent much of last week talking about multi-platform strategies. And there's a reason for that. In fact, it's been a bad week in time for Xbox under the TV. Sony revealed that it will miss its target of shipping millions of PlayStation consoles upon its release. They flopped on it. The very next time, Xbox had their own anticipated business update confirming that some of the games would be actually going to PlayStation 5 after all. I think that's really interesting, everybody. The numbers speak for themselves. If we look at install base figures, we can see the console business that really hasn't grown for over 20 years. For 20 years. Just under 180 million PS2 and Xbox consoles were sold during the generation. That dropped slightly to just over 170 million during the PS3 and 360 era. And then we're back to around 180 for PS4 and Xbox One. That was a good time for them. There has been a significant growth in revenue driven by subscriptions, DLC, microtransactions, and a general switch to digital. But PlayStation and Xbox market hasn't expanded. They haven't expanded. And with rapidly rising development costs putting pressure on profitability, the companies need to either make cheaper games or find more customers. Ideally, they need to do both. I like this quote here. It says, the multi-platform push from Xbox and PlayStation points to a console market that's running out of ideas. I can share that with you if you like. You guys are welcome to tap into that on your own. If you would like to have the link to that, just hunt me down and I'll let you get it. The video game world is it has its own twists and turns. I can only speak about it as far as, obviously drawing the comparisons to music and digital assets, but that's really where it ends for me. We'll see what happens in the future. What do you guys think? How many more generations of consoles do you think we'll see? I was thinking maybe one more. It's possible, but maybe something different. Maybe it's not a plastic box that sits in your living room. It could be something different. And I think ICG Sean's got the right idea. Enjoy it while we can. Gio says, I don't think it'll be the console games that go first. It'll be the game discs. Then the peripherals. I predict a Steam 2.0. Yes. Gio's on it. Yes, Gio. Yes, dude. What it's really gonna come down to is not a battle or a competition between fucking hardware, or as we say here in New England, hardware. It's not gonna be a battle of hardware. It's going to be a marketing fight of subscription bundles. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like PlayStation versus Nintendo versus... You're right, bro. It's going to be like Steam bundles versus like... It's going to be software bundles. As more as the cloud and people go fully digital, now that people are going fully digital, no physical consoles. You're going to have like a digital console, you know? Honestly, like the same way you see, I don't know if you guys know, like, because not everybody here's musicians, but like in the DAW in recording programs and on like amp simulators and stuff like that, they have the real picture of the dashboard. They have the UI. They have all the features that they'd have in a real amplifier, but it's fully digital. Like maybe it will be like that. I tell you, I was just talking to Hans, we have VR here, and you have to try to play it. That's how, I can't say it's unfun. That's how hard it is, though. Like, something about just turning on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, you know, and just firing it up and putting the cartridge in it. It had its complications and challenges. I know. But, you know, like that shit didn't even have any loading times. It was great. You just put the fucking disc in and it happened. You know, it was kind of nice. Anyway. But I'm gonna leave it here. That way I can actually go play some video games. If I could, I'm gonna leave it here so I have a good place to start tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow for William versus the World. We got some more articles and just some different things tonight to think about. You know, we went over cell phones and whether or not really they would be a forever thing. And then we went over consoles. And I guess the moral of the story is, let's just not get stuck, guys. You know, like whatever we were doing before, chances are we're going to have to come up with some new tricks. I mean, whether you're a musician or maybe you're a roofer or you're a painter, you're an artist or a singer, don't be afraid to explore and don't be afraid to try new things, because it seems like with every turn and twist of technology, there's going to be something new that we don't really want to use. I mean, did you really want a checkbook, or is that just what they were doing at the time? And you know, it hasn't been long since women have had been allowed to have credit. I don't know if you guys know that, but women are allowed to have credit cards. Nice, which I think should be. But needless to say, I guess they haven't had the privileges of having credit cards for long. But like, really, does anybody, like, who's had fun with credit and who's had a great time with the real estate market? Who's had a great time with Bitcoin? Or when they tried to push the metaverse on us? You guys having a good time yet? I'm just saying, all this stuff is supposed to make us happy. It's supposed to make everything luxurious. We're all supposed to be having connectivity, and this is supposed to make things easy, and they're going to protect us and keep our data safe. But I don't know. I don't know if it's brought us any close together. I don't know if we're any happier. So, as I always try to remind you guys, just let's not get stuck. Let's not get stuck in our ways, you know. If you love cassettes, remember that they're going to reach equilibrium, and they might not be as popular as they were, but it seems to me cassettes haven't gone anywhere. I don't think we need to rage out on this stuff, because what are we really mad about? What are we fearing about? That this stuff is going to be obsolete, or that there's going to be people that don't want to play with these toys with us anymore? Are we upset that we're the only ones that like Pac-Man? Or do we really believe that Pac-Man's going to be gone from the face of the earth? I think throughout time, we'll always be able to enjoy the toys, the stories, the books, the events, and activities, most of them, as long as you can move around, from our childhood and when we were shaping our identities. I think we're going to be able to look back towards the fun things that we did in the toys and the books and the knowledge and the history. I think we're going to be able to look back on that and go, wow, this stuff shaped my identity. I also think that some of that stuff you're not going to need anymore because there's going to be new stuff. You guys all have a great night, and just remember, don't get stuck.